welcome to head coach Scott Satterfield's weekly press conference. Coach will start us off with a quick opening statement. And please raise your hands for questions. Coach?
All right, good afternoon. All right, just first of all, a little bit hit on the last game. I mean, obviously did not play well. I thought, give credit to a lot of Kansas State. I mean, coming off 2 losses last week, and it was senior night, and boys came to play, and they did. Right from the start, got after us, and then we just couldn't recover really after the first few drives, quite honestly. Tried to get it back. Our defense held them to 2 field goals, and then offense we started pressing a little bit, and just couldn't do it. Couldn't get over the hump. I think obviously settled down a little bit in the second half, played a little bit better, but it was too far gone at that point. But just give them credit. I mean, I thought it was a great environment there at Kansas State last week, and cool stadium. For us, going on the road for the first time, seeing some of these stadiums, you really get the sense of what this Big 12 conference is about, and some really neat venues that we go play at, and some cool stadiums, and so just give them credit. We got to get better. I mean, there's no question about it. We didn't score enough points, and couldn't slow them down really early in the game, and we certainly have to get better as we transition into this week. We got a great opportunity. Playing a team that's hot right now, TCU, scoring a lot of points. They've won 4 out of the last 5 games. I think every game this year scored over 34, except for maybe 2. I think it was the Utah game and the Houston game that they did not score very many points. Very talented bunch of guys, I think, particularly offensively. Wide receivers are outstanding. Some studs, man. And they got one that's 6'5", 225, plays receiver, running back, wildcat, who does it all. Outstanding player. And then a few more after that as well. Quarterback, I think 6th in the country in passing. They can throw it all over the place. Bryles is their OC, obviously used to slinging it around and throwing the football. And I think, certainly in this game, we have to do a great job defensively of trying to contain that offense. We all know that. But also, offensively, we got to do a great job of occupying the ball and trying to keep their offense off the field. I mean, we know how explosive they are. So we're going to have to do a much better job offensively, particularly on third downs, of staying on the chains there and getting first down. So I think that'll be big this week as well. Excited about the opportunity, finally playing a night game here at NIP, and we're excited about that. We've been doing it on the road now, and I'm glad we're able to do that here at home. And obviously celebrating these seniors. And these guys have done an unbelievable job for us leadership-wise. Some of these guys been here a long time. Think about like an Eric Phillips, 6 years he's been here. Fletch has been here a long time as well, had a great career. John Williams, Evan Prater. I mean, these are some guys that's been here for a long time, and we're going to lift those guys up, celebrate these seniors. I think, everybody sees just the 12 games, but for us, it's, we're with them every single day. Their teammates are with them every single day. You just build such a great bond with these guys and such a great relationship, and you respect them so much, and just want to honor them, and knowing this is their last game in Nippert. So I think that's what senior day is all about.
Questions for Coach? Chad?
The opening script on offense has been really good this year.
Really good.
When you get into a situation like you had at K-State, do you scrap it early? Do you stick to, like, those first 2 drives? It was really difficult.
Yeah, really difficult. Well, and I think, no, you're right. Just about every game we've gone down and scored, right off the bat, and it's been really good. In this game, I think our first 4 to 5 running plays, we were like -7 or 8 yards. It just went backwards, and that was uncharacteristic of us this year. Like you said, starting games. And it took a couple of series. The issue with that was that they were going to scoring, and that's not good and we couldn't keep up. And then you get down, and then it's like you're just scrapping to get back in it. And I thought we settled in a little bit, and Corey ended up having a great game. It was almost like too little, too late though with the running game there. And so, but yeah, that was a unique thing. The fact I think they scored their first 4 possessions. When you're looking up, you're down just 20-0, and you're like, man. So then we had to get the drive. We got 3 points out of it. At least we got on the board. So now we try to settle in. The huge play right before the half with the interception. Now we put our defense in a bad situation right there. And then going into halftime. I mean, obviously, that was terrible for us and our team. But I think, you look at it like, man, we just scrapped it. We got to go get some points. And to your point, and then just couldn't get it going. Third downs and the fourth down. We've been good on fourth down this year. We were 0 for 5. I mean, that was huge for us, not being able to get the first downs. You know, it was third and 2, and I think we took a shot and missed that, so now we wanted speed option to the boundary and didn't get it. We're about a half a yard short right there, and then just frustration, I think, from that point on, really, of not being able to convert and get those first downs, and that was probably the difference in the game offensively.
Was that an unfortunate spot?
I thought it was. I mean, it was right there at the sticks, and you're hoping that they look at it and they tell you they do, but I don't know if they do. You just don't know. But it was close. I mean, it was right there on the sticks, and obviously you want to be able to get that first down to be able to go get some points.
Where does Hoover rate among the quarterbacks that you face? You face so many guys that were mobile. This guy kind of sits back there and throws it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great arm. I mean, he's got extreme arm talent. I think the thing that makes them so dangerous is that the fact that he can throw it. He's very accurate, but they have some dudes. I mean, they got 4 or 5 guys that they can get the ball to. It's not like we're okay. You play Iowa State, they got 2 guys. This is where the ball's going. They got some guys, man, out there. So you really can't just say, oh, we're focused on this guy or this side. You really got to just disperse your defense and just stay on top of all of them. And he does such a great job of getting the ball out. And they keep the pressure on you horizontally and vertically. And so, that's where the challenge is. I mean, he's an outstanding quarterback. Obviously, I think him and Shador are like right there beside each other, 5th and 6th in the country, maybe, or something like that. And so I would say it's very similar. Offensive attack like Colorado. When you think about the speed that they had at wide receiver and the size they had and the quarterback, and now I think you're seeing something very similar to that.
Going off of that, TCU has 4 guys over 500 receiving yards. How do you go about stopping that? Do you hope to stop that or just sort of contain that kind of an offense? Yeah,
I mean, it's a little bit of both probably, but you don't want to give up the big plays against this offense because they certainly, I mean, they're very capable of big plays, and it's not just one guy. You mentioned over 4 guys with 500 yards, and that's where it makes it difficult now because at some point across the game, there's going to be singled up. They're going to be one-on-one, and they can beat you. So we have to do a great job of staying on top, not let them get behind us, and then if they do complete it, man, we got to just rally. And a team like this, they're going to move the football. We know that. I mean, I think they're averaging maybe 440 a game, and you get to this point of the season, that's not a fluke. When you're playing this part of 12th game. So trying to keep it in front of you. You'll probably give up some yards and plays, but the big thing is to knocking it down and not giving up that big touchdowns. Because I've looked and seen them, and they've scored from 80. They've scored from a 90-yard punt return. So they've scored from a long ways out. So trying to just knock it down. And then play defense again, and then hopefully as you get down tighter, closer to the red zone, you stiffen up a little bit and maybe try to hold them field goals.
What are the plans for who walks and who doesn't on senior night? Is it just if you're a senior, you walk, or do you have to be completely out of eligibility?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a few guys that will walk that maybe have a year left. Very unique time with senior days nowadays, as we all know. Think about with the COVID year and all that, what that did, and guys that, man, medicals or red shirts, I mean, all this stuff. It's hard to keep up with, quite honestly. We're going to have anywhere from 25 to 30 guys, and so we'll see where that number is as we go out here on Saturday. But, you like to think it's guys that are probably not playing anymore, that's exhausted eligibility, and that this is their last go-around.
They line up Savion Williams at both running back and wide receiver. How difficult does that make it to game plan for their run game?
Man. He's a guy you got to know where he's at all times. He's the one I was talking about, is 6'5", 225, and I think they had him at over 22 miles per hour this year. I mean, so he's one of the faster guys. I mean, I think, we're all blessed with some ability and talent, but usually we're not all that blessed with that much ability and talent. To be that size, to be able to run, like a small guy, and I think what they're doing is smart on their part, trying to find ways to get him the ball, whether it be in the backfield, whether it be a wildcat, or whether it be out there at wide receiver. So he's one of maybe their best player, and you just got to know where he's at all times.
For a team coming north, it's going to be cold. How difficult is that for a passing offense, to adjust to that, one? And two, do you tell your defense, hit them because their bell might be ringing a little bit longer?
Well, I hope we would do that regardless. Yes, hit them. I think obviously defensively you want to be able to do that. It really just probably, in my experience, it depends on the player, the actual individual player, because some don't mind cold or hot, some do. So it's hard to say, and I don't know that they've had a cold weather game this year. I mean, probably not. I think, Texas is probably somewhere around 75, 80 degrees for this time of year.
And they have one in the 50s.
Okay, so they haven't experienced what they'll experience Saturday night, and I think it certainly will be cold and could be windy, could be some snow blowing. I mean, it could be all these things. Dial it all up. I mean, I'm probably in favor of it all. Let's get it one of these great winter Ohio days. So it certainly won't be as comfortable as 70 degrees for a team that likes to spread it around and throw it. So hopefully we'll use that as an advantage, as well as being able to play in our field, in our stadium, in front of our fans. On senior night. I mean, I think that certainly has to be an advantage for us.
Coach, you talk about TCU spreading the ball around on the offensive side, Jack Beck on the outside there, a semifinalist for the Blitnikoff Award. What stands out to you the most when you watch him on film and say this is a dangerous playmaker?
Well, he's got the size too. He's not one of these little wideouts. He's got size, but a unique ability to run as well with that size. That's what's impressive about the guys. I mean, I feel like when you look at their wideouts, I mean, including him, I mean, I think the smallest maybe is 205 pounds up to 225. They're big guys, but they run like 180-pound guys. I mean, that's just a unique ability and talent. I mean, and I think obviously that's why they've had so much success in the passing game. But he also plays hard. Like, that guy plays physical. He plays hard. In some respects, almost like a tight end. That mentality. So it's a tough matchup. If you try to put a smaller corner on a guy like that, and that's just, you just get bullied a little bit when the guys are that big. So I think that therein lies the big challenge: size with speed, and there's many of them. I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge, I think. Not just William. If you could just focus on him, that'd be great, but you can't. There's other guys you have to focus on as well.
Your objective is to win and get win number 6, go to a bowl game. Have there been discussions if it winds up 5-7, because with your APR, you guys are in line where you could be chosen, you get the extra practices and all that. So I know that's not what your goal is, but has that been discussed?
No, not in the football office. Maybe somewhere else, but not in the football office. I mean, we're focusing on going out and having a great week and playing the best game we can play against TCU, and hopefully that's good enough. And you get the win now; it doesn't matter. So for us, no, we have not talked about it, discussed it. I mean, for us, it's just about going out and having a great week of prep and going out and trying to play great for these seniors on Saturday.
Can it be understated just how much momentum in so many aspects can be created going into next season if you guys are able to beat TCU and then win in a bowl game?
Yeah, it's hard to put that in words. We know how big that would be, obviously, right? I mean, it's I think anytime you can go into an off season with a win, it just kind of springboards everything for that momentum, for the off season. We have signing date next Wednesday for high school players, which most of those guys are already kind of committed. We kind of know where we're at with that. The week after that, the portal opens up, so we'll be bringing guys in for that. So December is going to be obviously extremely busy for that. And if you can go out and get a win, and now when you're bringing portal guys in, you got practices. It's just a lot more vibe around here, a lot more positive vibe, obviously. And I think that's you can't really put that in words how big that would be to be able to have that for the next 3 to 4 weeks of bringing guys in. You got bowl practice. It's just a lot better feeling for sure.
How difficult is it as a staff to compartmentalize all that, where you've got all of these things all kind of happening all at once, or do you just say, look, get through TCU and then we'll figure it out from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, with the recruiting, with the roster management, you always, next week we got to have conversations with our guys that have opportunity to come back or not. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now, and December is probably used to be a great month, and now it's probably the most hectic month in football when you talk about roster management, recruiting high school, the portal. Hopefully we're practicing. It's just a lot of stuff that are going on in that month. So you just try to focus in on what the task at hand. Right now it's scripting for practice today and getting ready for a Tuesday practice. And then we have other people in our department that kind of start, the recruiting department is worried about recruiting, so we got other guys who are worrying about other stuff, but really for our players and our coaches, it's about trying to do the best we can for TCU this week.
On the upside is you would get the extra practices that, also, I mean, if you were to go to a bowl and you want to play your first team guys and all, but it's quite a benefit that some of these guys that have not played could play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. It's well, just the opportunity to practice and work with a lot of our young guys. Another like 14 practices, 12 practices, however many you would get to be able to work with these guys. A lot of times we'll scrimmage some of the young guys within bowl prep as well, and some of those guys will play. Zay Johnson got in the game the other day. Willie Gilman got in the game. I mean, so we're gonna, you end up playing some more guys, some young guys that have an opportunity to play because now, next year they're going to get a lot more opportunity to play. So it's good to get them more experience this time of year.
A few uncharacteristic misses by Sorsby these past couple games. After watching the film, have you kind of been able to pinpoint what's happening? Is it mental or just lack of execution?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, the misses have been high. The balls have been just overthrown. And I think, a little bit of it mechanics of being balanced, and not fading away. So it's really just sitting in there, keeping the front shoulder down, making sure the ball is not going to sell on you. So that's a little bit. I think a little bit is pressing a little bit too much as well. Just trying to make every play when you don't have to do that. Just take what the defense gives you and take what's coming to you, and not just trying to make every play perfect. But we got high expectations for him to make those plays and make those throws. And and in a game, you never know when those things are going to happen. I mean, we had Evan Pryor was open again Saturday. We overthrew him. That was probably a touchdown. Now, unfortunately, we ended up scoring on that drive. But you want to be able to hit those throws. And we had a third down, and I think it was 3rd and 8. Had a drop out to the field and just overthrew it. Those you never know what's going to happen. You get that first down now, as opposed to turning the ball over. So, yeah, I mean, it's just about mechanics and doing what you're capable of doing, because he certainly is.
What kind of ambassador has Corey Kiner been and will be for this program?
Man, Corey's been unbelievable. He has got as good an attitude as anybody I've ever been around. It's like Sunday out here at practice, and I was like, Corey, how you feeling? He's a little sore. He said, no, sir, I'm ready to go. He's just got that mentality every single day. We could have practiced 2 hours on Sunday, and he would have done it. No questions asked. You think about that game Saturday night, the game's pretty much over, and he's still at the end of that game running as hard as he possibly can run and trying to get every yard. That just tells you his makeup, and he is a Bearcat through. If you could have everybody made up just like him, that's what you want. And because he's got a smile on his face every day, he comes to work every day, ready to go, and it gives it everything he has. And I can't say enough good things about him. And he's from Cincinnati, he's through and through. So yeah, he's a huge ambassador for our program, and I would say he will be in the future. Hopefully he gets to play a lot more football, at the next level, and it certainly will be back and be a part of our program for sure in the future.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.